Many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
Let me ask you something. Do you hate Americans with black skin color?
Absolutely not. I actually love Americans with black skin color so much that I'm willing to fall on the sword 1,000 times for them to wake up and realize that we are being lied to, abused, and used by the Democrat Party.
I'm baffled because in the chairman's opening statement, he said that you openly associate with purveyors of hate.
Yes, purveyors of hate, by his definition, is anybody that supports the president. I support the president because he's done a tremendous job in helping the black community, despite all of the rhetoric from the media and leftists, which do not want him to be successful.
Tell me a little bit about how the president has helped the black community, if you would, please.
Well, he's lowered the black unemployment rate. It's the lowest it's ever been in the history. He's getting us off of our feet. We see, I believe the last number I checked was 3.5 million people are off of food stamps, something that the Black Caucus sat down and didn't applaud. Neither did any of the Democrats applaud, because they want a system where blacks are dependent on the government. They are the people that put in place the policies that broke down the black family. And the biggest problem that's facing our community is father absence. In every room that I've been in with the president, he talks about real issues, and he doesn't pander to us. He doesn't do Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's southern drawl accent and speaking to us like we're slaves. He asks us important questions, and the most important question he could have asked was, Black America, what do you have to lose? Because we were already losing under Democrat leadership. Yes, I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Liu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again. Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully extracted, he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives. By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
At the age of 12 years old, I shot myself. I was in the house. Police knocked on the door. I was right there. They knocked the door down. Everybody jumped over my body to go get the guns and drugs and whatever they could find. It took one guy to stop right there and cuss everybody that hopped over me out. Like, what the f*** are y'all doing? They said, oh, no, we was going to see if it... What the f*** are y'all doing? We called the ambulance. A ambulance? Do you not see this kid on the floor with this hole in his chest? Say, you drive. Pick me up. Brought me to the hospital. He didn't drop me off at the ambulance and say, you take him. He brought me to the hospital room and made two and stood there and waited till the doctor said he's gonna make it. He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. The that hopped over me was blacker than me.
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and my life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is. I know a good name, Uncle Bob, though.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful.
Of George Floyd losing his life wasn't enough. Now we've got liberals that are blaming Donald Trump. Are you kidding me?
Sell out. You must want to be white.
No connection to the black community. This is fun, right?
Black people support Republicans. Just I support Cole.
I joined the Young Republicans Club at school.
No, it can't be a Republican. Oh my. Not a Republican. Oh, Jesus. Black Jesus.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox.
Blacks have to behave a certain way to qualify as authentically black. But if you stereotype blacks and expect blacks to behave like blacks expect other blacks to act to qualify as authentically black, then you're a racist. The reason why this doesn't erupt like cow farts in a Zippo is because conservatives don't really go around stereotyping people. It's white liberals who are the ones with a fetish for stereotyping people and are dependent on keeping the notion that different ethnicities have to behave according to the way liberals dictate. But they get away with stereotyping people by race baiting. They sucker people of color by accusing the Republicans of being racist, so liberals can get away with being racist. And then they patronize people of color. Unfortunately, too many people of color eat that stuff up. Stephanie Miller promotes the idea that to be really black is to be a thug.
Taking off our shirts, about to make these practice first. Taking off our shirts, about to make these practice first. Swag.
And that the model of what it is to be black is personified in people like Ludacris and 50 Cent. Stephanie is another cowardly liberal bigot who has a negative perception of blacks in general and wants to express her negative sentiments against blacks while she chicken-heartedly projects her sentiments onto the Tea Party so she can get away with her bigotry scot-free. Typical of a shallow liberal. She expects people to perform and behave according to their skin color. A liberal cannot possibly grasp what MLK meant when he said judge by content of character, not by color or skin. Because to a liberal, your character is dictated by your skin color. You're black, therefore your character has to be this. You're white, therefore your character has to be this. You're Hispanic or Asian, so your character has to be this. And there's truth to certain behaviors and cultures, yes, but the even bigger truth is that nobody is bound to them. But Democrats have this nasty habit of bounding and shackling people. Whether it was bounding people in shackles with slavery, bounding people in the conditions of social assistance, shackling people to their causes like forcing us to subsidize their green movement, shackling us to dependency on foreign oil, shackling us to abortion, making taxpayers pay for them, and of course shackling us to their narrative and their insisting on stereotypes. Stephanie Miller is another full of herself liberal who thinks she's qualified to be an authority on how black folks are supposed to act. You Democrats really can't get over the fact that you don't own us anymore, can you? But then again, why should you? Too many in the black community allow you to. I'm Alfonso Rachel with Zone Nation, happily outside of that bigoted box that liberals try to keep us in.